You are watching the 2025 Tire Rack One Lap of America presented by Grassroots Motorsports Magazine with media coverage this week brought to you by HP Tuners. We are at a very, very chilly Grattan Raceway here in Michigan. We are just a couple of minutes from cars getting out on track. One lap's first trip here to Grattan. Well, I guess probably first in the modern era. I know that most of us have not been here. But we are hitting cars, the first couple of run groups up to the grid, and we will be going live here in just a couple of minutes. No, Brian, it is not warming up yet. It is like 36 degrees. I'm cold. You know, we've already had 90 at home. This is cold.
How stable does this seem? We're just hoping for the best. Oh.
So guys, this track's a little bit different than a lot of the other tracks we've run this week. I think probably our first few run groups are going to be only 4 cars. Kind of a short track, a very tight track, and a lot of blind corners, undulation, and sketchiness. So hopefully everybody's gonna behave, tiptoe around on their recon lap and get things figured out, because this track is quite the challenge. And Solomon was talking to Jack Rouse Jr. a few weeks ago to kind of get the skinny on this place, and he goes, yeah, we race karts there all the time. Said, not going to be a lot of wheel-to-wheel racing here, but we'll see. We've got a couple of competitors, including Ben Schott, who has quite a few laps here. I'm sure there are a few others that have run here in the past, but this is a neat track. The layout's pretty cool, and going to see how interesting it gets during the day today.
What's up?
So it looks like we got the first run group heading out on track for their recon lap. So it looks like our running order this morning, we got DJ in the Supra. I believe Chris Mayfield is at the controls of the GT4 RS. Then Dave Marcus in the cunning stunts GT3. And we've got the Goodyear Porsche, trying to get the last little bit of heat in those tires. And we're going 6 cars. We got the PGR Tesla and Tim White in his Trasherita Corvette. Driving this morning. Everybody's away and on their first lap. DJ damn hauling the mail first thing this morning. And Chris in the Porsche. Getting a bit of a crowd up here on the balcony. Here's the ways. Your Porsche completing their first lap. Tim in the vet, zipping by. Here comes DJ, finishing up lap number 2. Let's see what kind of gap he's pulled on Chris. That seems to be about the same as it was. Dave Marcus and his GT3. Nick was working that wheel pretty vigorously in the Goodyear Porsche. PGR Tesla, sorry. And here comes Tim in his Corvette. And we ought to be seeing DJ headed towards us. There he is right there. DJ across and takes the checkered flag to finish up his morning run. It appears that DJ did eke out a little bit of a gap. Dave Marcus just about cut the gap to Chris in half over those 3 laps. Comes the Goodyear Porsche, finishing up their morning run. Tesla across the line to finish this morning. And I think we're just waiting on Tim White in his Penguin Garage Trash Rita Corvette. And here he comes. And just like that, our first run group this morning is complete. We've got Scott Robertson in the Cardinal. We've got the Michelin Corvette. Ian Stewart and Jamie 718 GTS. Got the E-Ray. Kozar, and then looks like Morgan in that first of the Smoko Motorsports cars. We got everybody circulating around on their recon lap. Everybody should be coming into frame here in just a second. Starting off with the Robertson Racing Fields Auto Works Cardinal Coupe, Scott Robertson. The Michelin Corvette.
Guys, I don't know if you can hear me. Microphone. All right, good morning. Hey, just wanted to say a shout out to my Regency Christian Academy seniors. Today's their walkout day. Just wanted to say hey to you guys. I know you've been watching and following along all week. I really appreciate that. I appreciate everything that you've done for me this year. And I'm super proud of you guys. And I'll see y'all at graduation. All right, boys. See ya.
Our One Lap Messiah checking in with us. Jesus, of course, is a teacher and mentor and PE coach and a little bit of everything at a small Christian school down in Orlando. If you saw our interview with Killer Whale Racing, you would have seen all that. Shout out to the seniors that are graduating. Jesus was one of the guys that we like, so if they want to jump on camera during our live stream, hey, we let them.
I appreciate
it. Morgan leaving the line in that Smoko Corvette, so everybody is on their first of 3 laps. Scott ought to be popping up towards us here in just a moment over the crest of the hill, finishing up his first lap. There he is right there. Working the wheel very vigorously in that car to get it pointed in the right direction. Corvette on those Pilot Sport all seasons they're running this year. Ian in the 718. That super quiet Lingenfelter modified Corvette E-Ray comes, I believe that's Corey Kozar, yep. Corey finishing up his first lap. Yeah, there's Morgan. See if we can give you a little extra view of the track here. So we see the E-Ray coming through here. Cardinal over there on the back side. Morning, all of you checking in with us. Here comes Scott Robertson. I believe he's going to be taking the checker. He does take the checkered flag. Michelin Corvette. Quick little Cayman. E-Ray.
I got a hay booster here. Let's see if I can. Hey,
This is a family-friendly show, right? So I don't know if I can say what I think about
well, it's on 45 broadcast, so no, this is not making a reason. Okay, so I think
No,
what
that's-
you're going to say. I think you're going to say
Yeah, it's something, man. Ice belongs in freezers, you know, and ice skating rinks. This belongs in cars. It's all outside. What's going on? Sorry. Also needs to go pack her bags and go home. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I don't even. I mean, you know, I grew up in the Northeast, so whatever. But a few years before that, so this thing, it's been summer for 2 months. It's been 80s and 90s. Spring was a long time ago. Get past that. James, helmet on, so apparently you need helmets. I don't know. I really want to know the story behind that. Because that doesn't come, right, that doesn't come from nowhere. That was an insurance company was like, nah, this ain't happening again. Like, we're fixing this problem. This is the only track I think I've ever been to. I'm kind of okay with that. It definitely sets this track apart, that's for sure. So this whole week has been, I think, tracks literally blind. This one has all the design. And he's like, you know, I've gained my confidence in blind corners over the week. I'm not scared of them. I was like, I can't remember, am I in turn 3 that goes left, or is this 17 that goes right? I don't even know what year it is. Like, so we'll see if he can remember which way is which. It will be as he flies over one of those crescents.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Scott Kennedy, Shadow Buddy Porsche. Chris left behind him and probably Chad Gunslinger Gilslinger in that from the start line and are working on their first of 3 laps.
He sent me a video.
and no cheating from the audience. There goes Scott. His first lap, followed by Chris, and that, I think, the quietest, one of the two quietest of our Camaros. Chad Gilsinger in that Acura. I'm sure over Chad's long racing career. You can't hear me, Brian? Oh, there we are. Oh, okay. Over Chad's long racing career, I'm sure he's probably got a few laps here. Chris Brierly in that Corvette. Here comes Rob Bowen in the Parks Farm Porsche. Of course, the Parks Farm, one of our sponsors, they provide the trophies to the class winners. Well, Brian, it's cold, it's late in the week, and I've forgotten how to use technology. There goes Scott getting ready to start his final 3 laps. Chris Levitt's pulling out of that gap that was at the beginning of the run. Chad starting his final lap. Looks like he has increased the gap to Chris and that Shaky Dog Corvette. And Rob has pulled a bit of that gap. JD started his last lap, and just saw out of the corner of my eye, it looks like the Camaro is really catching up to Scott now. You'll see how close they are coming through, and Chad looks like he's pulled even a little bit more out of that gap to the Camaro. You're going to see them cresting the hill right now. There's Scott and Chris right on his tail. They both take the checkered flag. Across the line to finish up. I think I figured out our audio problem. I'm going to work on this real quick and get that fixed. There, we should be all golden now with audio. Our little wireless microphone receiver wasn't plugged all the way into the phone because the case kind of hampers that just a little bit. But I think we're good now. Brian Hewer, give me a thumbs up if you can hear pretty good now. Good. All right. If you waited too much longer, I was going to give you a Judge Smells. Well, we're waiting. Let's see who's in this next group. It looks like we got, I think Jake's in the car this morning. So we got the HP Tuners Supra. And behind him, it looks like that is Ben Schott in the Team Rumspringa Porsche. Ben has a ton of laps. I think this pretty much is Ben's home track. So he has lots of experience here. And we got the number 40 Camaro. I don't know if Sun Chen or if Justin's driving this morning, but one of the two of them. Then the Forsyth Supra, like Bowie Gray in his BMW, and Mark John in his Camaro. So that looks like that's going to be our next run group here. We've got everybody. Chip ready to give Jake that green flag to get him going. So the Supra is away. It'll be really interesting to see how much of that gap Ben can get back off of Jake over 3 laps. Camaro seems to have a little problem getting the power down, all them horsepowers and all them torques. Mark John down and away. And we've got everybody running now. I see Ben already around the backside. It's like he's already pulled a couple of seconds out of the Supra on lap number 1. Hear a lot of tire noise out behind us. Everybody trying to find the grip. There goes Jake. Here comes Ben. Look, well, may have pulled a little bit out of that gap. It looked a little bit more when they were over here on the back side. Comes the Forsyth Supra. Actually, it looks like Monique's at the wheel this morning. Here comes Bowie in his little Stormtrooper BMW. And there goes Mark John. Not 100% sure, but it looks like Jake has actually increased the gap to Ben. By a couple of seconds. Jake is almost at the end of the straightaway, and then here comes Ben now. David, Super K yesterday turned 2 cylinders into 1. I think they had a cylinder wall failure, which was just kind of heartbreaking for those guys. They had just been more than dominant all week long, and just a terrible way to end the week for them. Just a day early, like Alex. I was talking to Alex during the lunch break yesterday. He said, you know, all we had to do was 12 more laps. Mark John completing his second lap. Comes Jake from State Farm, taking the checkered flag. Been wanting to say that all week. In the HP Tuners Supra. Here comes Ben in the Team Rumspringa Porsche. And the Camaro pulled a little gap out of the Porsche over those 3 laps. So now I think we've got Monique Bowie and Mark John left to take the checkered flag. Monique ought to be coming into view here any second. And right on cue, there she is. And there she goes. Taking the checkered flag. Here comes Bowie coming into frame right about. And Will Smith coming up over the crest, finishing up his morning run here. So our next group out, well, we got a competitor crossing over. So we got Randy Popes in that Roush Performance Stage 3 Mustang. Got the BF Goodrich Type R. Couldn't see which Mustang that was, it just went out, but we'll figure it out once they get around here. Now it's like we got Ryan Whalen in the Iowa Z06. Jesus whispered in my ear and tickling me on the back of my neck, saying that he thought that may have been Scott Madison, the Purple People Eater. Andy Hollis in the Hyundai Ioniq 5N. And looked like Hodges going out in the Killer Whale Camaro. And like the last car in the group, the Kentucky boys in that Barney Tribute Corvette. Everybody's out on their recon lap. Here comes Randy Popes And that is, in fact, the Purple People Eater in third. And in the Type R, I'm not sure if Ed's driving this morning or Ross, both capable drivers. Brian Huber checking in said they could have got McDonald's to sponsor them and gone with a Grimace theme. Comes the Hyundai. Looks like Andy at the wheel this morning. Comes James Hodges, fresh off of his tour of Africa. His several months he got to spend there, courtesy of the United States Air Force. So it looks like it was, I'm seeing down on the grid, looked like it was actually Adam in the HP Tuner Super rather than Jake this morning. So my Jake from State Farm joke is not quite as funny now. But we've got half the cars out on track now, and just waiting on our last couple. Celebrated American playwright Neil Simon joining us on the balcony here.
Pretty damn excited to be here.
Pretty damn excited to have you here.
We're having an interesting one.
Well, aren't all one laps interesting?
Absolutely. This one is a little bit more grueling than most because we've been overcoming a whole bunch of issues.
Okay. And how often do you guys have to stop for potty breaks for Apollo?
Apollo has tremendous capacity. So in fact, Apollo has not slowed us down a bit and has just urged us on. So he's been a wonderful one-lap co-driver.
And as of tonight, he will become an official lap dog.
Absolutely. And I think he's the first lap dog, real dog, that's ever been on the one lap of the track.
For the full week, I think you're right. So you and Michael are making some one lap history.
Absolutely.
So with all the trials and tribulations and issues you guys have experienced over this week, would you rather be anywhere else this week than right here, right now?
Absolutely not. It's overcoming the challenges has been at times stressful, but we're doing it. We're here. We ran stronger yesterday afternoon at pit race than we have all week and moved way on up. Contending for a class win, which is sort of thrilling with this old cobbled together car that we're running. So yeah, we're having a fantastic week.
So how many one laps is this for you now?
This is my 19th one lap and the 4th one lap I've done with Michael Giabro, who's just become a terrific friend and is a wonderful driver.
So for next year, you going to improve on the wagon and bring it back, or we're going to see something even crazier?
To be discussed. It may be different. I'm hoping it's not too much crazier.
Well, there you have it from one of America's treasures, playwright Neil Simon. So what's next for your Broadway career?
Hot tubs and massages, I think, for the next week. Been doing this event with a broken rib, which has been a little bit of a challenge, but I'm feeling good, and we'll probably go through a little postpartum depression next week when I get home.
We always do. Well, thank you for being my victim here on the interview balcony.
Good talking to you,
and let you get back to watching the live action here.
Okay.
Of course, you all know that really wasn't treasured American playwright Neil Simon, but I've been hitting him with that joke for 10 years, and it's always funny to me. So we ought to see, there he is. I was getting ready to say we ought to see Randy coming towards us any second. And Randy takes the checkered flag, finishing up his morning session here at Grattan Raceway. The Type R across the line, followed by Scott Mattis in that Mach 1 purple people eater that his wife let him bring to one lap again. Thanks, Mayor. Ryan Whalen, another one of those crazy Iowa boys across, take the flag from Chip at the line. Comes Hodges in the Killer Whale Racing Camaro, followed closely by Andy Hollis in the GRM sponsored Hyundai. And here comes the Kentucky boys. And with that, another run group down. So next group out looks like Freeze in the second of the Cardinals. And we've got Neil's co-driver, Michael, going out in the BMW wagon. Looks like Tim Curl in his Porsche next. Got the first of the Dad Bod Car Mod Lotuses. Then Finchy in, or not Brad, Ryan Finch in the last of the Cardinals. And I think I may have missed a car. It got out before I could see it. But we'll get that figured out here directly. There's the Cardinal. That is actually the Cardinal that Scott Robertson piloted last year. Now this year with Eric Streeter and Brian DeFries. Michael in the BMW wagon. Tim in the number 46 Porsche. The first of the Dad Bod Car Mod Lotuses. He's got that wing at maximum AOA. Then there's the other Cardinal. And I think we're just going with 5 cars this run group. Maybe the 6th car was not quite ready. But we're getting all these guys down and away. With the Cardinal leaving the line, we've got everybody out on their first flying lap. Spin around here and you can see the Cardinal coming into view. Michael thrashing that BMW wagon, getting sideways. Michael, this is a track session, not a drift session, but he is he's chasing that Cardinal down. Like he lost a little bit of time there when he got the car sideways on that right. But we'll see how much of this gap that he is taking out here. Here comes the Cardinal, finishing up their first lap. And right on cue, there's Michael. He is pulled out a couple of seconds on that first lap. Comes Tim in the Porsche. So it looks like all the cars are taking nibbles out of the gaps to the car in front. And we got the Cardinal coming over the top of that crest into these S's here on the back side of the track. Michael's taking even more out of that gap to the first of the Cardinals. There's Tim. And when they go out of view right here, they go downhill into a pretty wildly banked left-hander. We did a little track ride this morning just at slow speed to check the course out since we had, of course, never been here. And that time the BMW going by sounded like it wasn't quite happy and singing it full song. We'll be able to see once we look at the gap a little bit later when they come back around. There goes the Lotus finishing up his second lap, followed closely by the third of the Cardinals. Spin around here and we should be seeing Cardinal number 2, which is Cardinal number 66, for those of you keeping score at home. Coming up over that crest. And it looks like the gap is pretty much the same. Cardinal may have taken a little bit more back out of that original gap. There's Tim in the Porsche. We got the Lotus here. And the third Cardinal is actually within a couple of seconds of the Lotus now. As Freeze takes the checkered. And Michael did lose a little bit of that gap. The car definitely not at 100% there. And another run group complete. See who we've got going out next in just a few seconds. Everybody playing quite well this morning. Running through the run groups very rapidly. Actually a lot faster than I would have expected at such a really a small, very challenging track here. This they've used the landscape here quite well. This this track has a little bit of everything. A lot of blind corners, a lot of undulation, almost some high bank corners. And if you don't pay attention on your recon lap, things can go bad quickly. There were a couple of corners that when we were riding around that when you were getting to the top of the hill, you're swearing to yourself, oh, this corner's going right, and it just falls off violently to the left. So really, really neat course. And I think this is, I'm not sure exactly how old this track is, but I think it's fairly seasoned. So it looks like got Kevin Welsh out on track, followed by David Carr in that Dodge Challenger Daytona EV. Danny Corliss in his M3. The number 59 of Tony Song. And like Jim Bob's out there. And then Brian Maskery in his 8.6. Yep, there's Kevin Welsh. He is kind of fallen down the board since yesterday. Yesterday morning, first session at pit, he was in the third run group, and now he is, I think this is our sixth run group. So kind of tumbled a little bit down the line. But over this week, anything can happen. This is the equivalent of doing almost a full season of racing in 1 week. So if you like sleep deprivation, eating at gas stations, and being in close proximity to someone you think is your friend for 9 days, this is the place for you. That's why every year we sell the event out in just a couple of hours, and a few hours after that, we've got a waiting list of 50. Run here and see Kevin on his first lap. And there is David Carr, not too far behind in that EV Dodge. Comes Danny Corliss in his M3. Competitors out there making lots of very nice tire sounds this morning on this cold surface here at Grattan. Doing everything they can to keep heating those tires, keep the adhesion levels up. And there goes Kevin finishing up his first lap, followed by David Carr in the Dodge. Danny Corliss in his M3. How much charge can a charger charge a charger? I don't know. That would be the question of the day to Dodge engineer David Carr. Here comes Jim Bob finishing up his first of 3 laps, and Brian Maskery not too far behind in the 8.6. I need some cookies, Brian. Tell Kim to whip me up a batch and you deliver them this afternoon to South Bend when we get there. Please and thank you. Danny getting a little squirrely up there at the top of the S's. Looked like he may have had 2 off. I couldn't tell exactly, but looked like he got it all back up together and continued on. Here goes Kevin starting his 3rd lap with David Carr right in tow. Of course, David being an engineer with Dodge here in Michigan, I think he may have been here a couple of times. Of course, over the years, David's brought some very interesting Dodge products to One Lap. I remember back in 2019, he brought a Dodge Durango Pursuit that they were developing for a law enforcement application. That was a really neat vehicle. Was fully outfitted with the light bar and blue lights or the light. You know what I'm saying. It's been a long week, folks. And we had some fun during parade laps where our photographers got some roller shots of the Durango in pursuit of some of our competitors out at Black Hawk Farms. All the cars making lots of screechy tire noises now. Kevin taking the checkered with David Carr still right there close by. So next up we should have, there is Danny and his M3. Tony Song and his Porsche. We've got Jim Roberts in the Jim Bob Corvette, followed by Brian in the 8.6. And another run group down. Well, we got Mark Thompson in the Shelby GT 500 carbon fiber track pack. Steve Loudon in his Viper. Chad Lowers in the AMG Grocery Getter. Like Eric Grosper Ramirez in his Corvette. We got Bob and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I think he's going to let the Hart Racing, well, I thought he was going to let the second of the Hart Acuras go around him, but he did not. So those are our next 6 contestants here on The Lap is Right.
There comes Mark in the Shelby. Coming around to get staged up at start finish. Steve Loudon in his Viper. Chad Lowers in the AMG wagon. Grosper in his Corvette. Comes the Bob and Ted Excellent Adventure Corvette and the Hart Racing Acura. Mark and Steve have taken the green flag. Chad leaving the line right now in his AMG. Grosper down and away. The Bob and Ted Corvette gets green flag, and now the Hart Acura has taken the green flag, so everybody's out on their first of 3 laps. There goes Mark Thompson in the Shelby. Steve Loudon in his Viper coming up through those S's, getting ready to go into that high banked left-hander. Chad Lowers in his wagon. Grosper not too far behind. And here comes Mark in the Shelby, finishing up lap number 1. That big bad Viper right behind. Chad Lowers in the AMG. Good to have Chad back after a long absence. Here comes Eric in the Vet. Bob and Ted in the Corvette, followed closely by the Hart Racing Acura. Here comes Mark finishing up his second of 3rd laps. He's going to get the 1 to go this time by. So he has 1 circuit of the track remaining this morning. Steve Loudon in the Viper. Comes Chad in the AMG with Grosper right in tow. I don't think we're going to see any passes here unless we have a driver give a point by. This track is quite tight in a lot of places around the track. So we got, well, we do have a pass. The Corvette gets out of the way and lets the Acura go by, coming onto the front stretch. Grosper has gotten around Chad in the Mercedes. Grosper almost loses it there. I think he gathered it up. Here comes Mark, taking the checkered flag. Steve Loudon coming through. Grosper flying by after completing the pass on Chad. So now we're just awaiting the arrival of the Hart Racing Acura and the Bob and Ted's Excellent Adventure Corvette, which we ought to see the Acura coming up over the knoll here. And there he is. And here comes the Corvette finishing up their morning run here at Grattan Raceway. Let's see who's next in line to go out. I'll be releasing cars here in a second. So first up, we've got the Stoked to be stock Porsche, followed by the El Amarillo Porsche. Then the Toyota PE86, the Toyota PE Camry, and we got two dads, one Camaro. I think the Camry is wanting to wave around the Camaro possibly. And finishing out this run group Got the EBBQ Corvette, Charles Lovelady and Don Harris. Doc probably at the wheel this morning. So the Stoke to be stocked Porsche down and away. Ray in the El Amarello Porsche taking the green. I believe Kevin's at the wheel of the 8.6 this morning. Camry off the line. Two dads, one Camaro taking the green, followed by Dr. Lovelady in the EBBQ Corvette. First two cars are through that challenging little stage of S's, and here comes the 8.6 through there. Camry coming into view right about now. And we'll flip around here and we'll see the first of the two Porsches coming onto the front stretch here. Finishing up lap number one. Eight, 6 across the line. No, Brian. No Miatas this year. Not a one. So here come the two Porsches, a Stoke to be stocked, and the El Amarello. Stoke to be stocked gives the point by to Ray in his Porsche. So we have facilitated a pass here on the front stretch. Here comes the 8.6. Finishing up a lap number 2 here this morning. Come the two dads with one Camaro. Yeah, Brian, I think those Lotuses are just held together right now by duct tape, zip ties, hopes and prayers. They've been wrenching on those things all week long as we see Doc come through in his Corvette. Doc had been on the waiting list for quite some time, and Don had a issue with his car and reached out to the One Lap family for help. And Doc said, I've got a car. You want to do it? So Doc made it back to One Lap after several years of not being here. Here comes the El Amarello Porsche. Cross the line, take the checkered flag, followed by the scoped to be stocked Porsche. Here comes the 8.6. And then the 8.6 has opened up quite the gap to the Camry. And here comes the Camaro, the two dads, one Camaro. And Doc in the Corvette rounds out this run group. So as this next run group pulls out, I'm going to leave you with it for just a few minutes so you can enjoy the sights and the sounds here at Grattan. And I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. Got a couple of things I need to take care of real quick, but I will be back with you shortly. All right, guys. Sorry about that delay with me getting back. I got pulled to the side by everybody I came across, but that is the conclusion of the morning session. We should be back with the afternoon session in about an hour. So if you haven't already subscribed, do that and click that notification bell so you'll know exactly when we add videos or we go live. So for the 2025 Tire Rack One Lap of America, presented by Grassroots Motorsports Magazine and media coverage brought to you by HP Tuners, we will see you after lunch for the afternoon session here from Grattan.